Okay, so this is just like a kind of a quick breakdown of like how you can kind of use the Jiang like with some of the Baguazhang like techniques, just to kind of like have something to work with, a bit of resistance like when you're kind of walking like with the circle. So these are just like one or two like the exercises I kind of want to show, just to kind of give people like a basic kind of like a breakdown. But I mean, overall, it's a, like like the Jiang as a tool, it can be used like for many like different like Chinese martial arts. It's used in other Indonesian martial arts, and it's even used like in the Philippines like as well. Like it's a universal tool like that kind of like crops up everywhere. So as regards like the actual like posture and using it like starting off, so you basically just insert, let's say like your one hand, let's say like go in underneath, and one hand, let's say like go down. So you're walking the circle. A bit more tighter of a configuration that I'd usually have, let's say like on the Jiang like form, but you kind of get used to kind of like a feeling like that upward like a force and downward force. Now I'm going to turn around, push, come through, flower hides under the leaf, come around, turn it out, and then facing like the other side, walking the circle. Okay, now from here, let's say like you can kind of, let's say like once again, you're just kind of turning like off the circle, flower hides under the leaf, and you exchange. It's the other hand. Flower hides under the leaf, exchange to the other hand. Okay. Now, if you're using, let's say like you're having it, let's say like on the inside, some like some of the things like you can kind of like play. So like close the moon to push the door, and then like you're coming up like once again. Fierce tiger exits the cave. Like you're turning out, then let's say like you into, let's say like your flower hides under the leaf this way, and then you're coming out, and then you're basically feeling like you're kind of like this version, which is kind of an elongated version of, let's say like a fire palm, this version, and then you're just walking the circle like once again. Fierce tiger exits the cave, flower hides under the leaf, and then you walk the circle like once again with the fire palm. So those are just a kind of a couple of ideas like you can kind of like play around with. I like to kind of like hold, let's say like a heaven palm up this way as well, just to kind of feel that outward energy, and just walk the circle this way as well. This is really good when you're kind of doing, there's one particular throw in bagua where you kind of hyperextend like the elbow joint. This I found actually like quite good, like to actually get that lock on kind of like pretty quickly, and then to be able to kind of like exacerbate it. So what am I talking about? So like, let's say like if you catch like a person's hand underneath and you basically hyperextend it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the pressure by lifting up, and I'm also going to pull down like with this hand onto the crux of my elbow, and I can then like extend it even further by putting it onto my shoulder. So like imagine if you're kind of like walking in a circle, you've initially got the heaven palm catch, and you're walking the person up, you're hyperextending until you've got them, let's say, completely over here. And then let's say like you could do, let's say like one of the particular like throws like from bagua, like stepping back with the elbow, like just hyperextending like the shoulder, like as well with that particular throw. That feeling, let's say like of kind of lifting up and pulling down, that's what you want to be feeling, let's say like when you're actually doing that hyperextension underneath someone's like elbow joint. That's what you want to feel, the two forces of like both like earth like palm and the heaven palm like both coordinating like together. That catch, you really want to feel that catch like on the elbow. And as you're lifting up, I'm going to do it from this side now. So from here, you're lifting the person up, hyperextending, and you're turning the ring at the same time. So that represents, let's say like probably a complete subluxation of the elbow, or you set them up in such a way that you're going to actually just step back and do a downward, let's say like a throw this way, bringing them over like a kind of either using, let's say like the back leg, let's say like, or kind of a cross buttocks, like where you kind of brought them up onto the tippy toes, and they're there just ready to be tipped over with it. Okay, so that's just a couple of ideas like with the Jiang Baguazhang, like using it like for bagua. I kind of like would tend like to kind of play around like with some of the other, let's say like palms, let's say like for example, like walk in the circle, like feeling, let's say like earth like palm, like pushing down, let's say like this can be great, let's say like if you're doing kind of a push like onto someone's hip, like to knock them over, and then you're kind of rising up again like to heaven, like to either do mop the brow, like, or kind of catch them like underneath the throat, like to tip them over. So you could have something like you've kind of pushed down onto their leg, compress them, and then you're kind of coming back up, and you can then like follow on like with some of the other like strikes. But basically if you're kind of doing that maneuver like with the Jiang, pushing down, lifting up, pushing down, lifting up, pushing down, lifting up, and like you're getting all of that kind of, see this kind of turn going on here. You can do that as a kind of an here as well. Like you can play all of these type of things like with the Jiang. I mean the Jiang really is just a tool like for having like some resistance like when you're playing your forms or playing like your hand shapes, like so whether it's completely lifting up, a compress, a push down, a push in, a lift up, and a push at the same time, so you're kind of getting those two kind of opposing forces going on. There's lots of different ways to kind of like play it. So you could have something like push the moon to open the door, fierce tiger exits cave, golden rooster like shakes its wings, remove flower from the leaf. There's lots of different ways to kind of play these like things. Go along Taishan Road. There's lots of different ways you can kind of play these things. This move, coming over, collapsing, pushing over. There's a wealth of material like you can kind of like play with the Jiang, like and integrating like some ideas like from bagua. One other one, like I'll leave you with this one. This is one of my favorites, like with the kind of like play with where you're doing kind of like a heaven palm. You come back over, roll, and you come back out, let's say like once again. And what is that really? Just one interpretation of the teacups like you're using, let's say like the Jiang as a bit of resistance. And you'll find, let's say, when you start playing with these things and you're doing these kind of maneuvers, you'll start seeing like your joint locks getting on a lot snappier, your displacements are kind of off balances like of your colleagues, like I noticed kind of like playing around like with this like just for the first couple of months like when I started like playing with the Jiang like from Wing Chun, and started trying to like integrate it into some of the other martial arts like that I've done before. It's a really universal like tool, like you'll get a lot of like benefit like out of like kind of like playing with it. So that's just a kind of a brief introduction. I hope you maybe got a couple of ideas like out of this. If you have any questions, like shoot me off like a message or leave a comment, like or send me an email. Okay, take care.